Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Push with Nick and KB. We are back once again to bring you a weekly recap video, this time of Monday Night Raw, which took place on January 12th in Dusseldorf, Germany, at the PSD Bank Dome. We kick off the show with our new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, or Rio if you fancy. After they welcome us to Monday Night Rio, they basically tell us how hard this was to get to this point, but that the chemistry they have was able to finally get them over that hump and beat the Kabuki Warriors. They then issue an open challenge to anyone in the back. This is quickly answered by the Judgment Day's Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. Liv says she never really lost those titles and that she can get them back the easy way or the hard way. Then enters Lyra Valkyria and Bayley, who have both been going at Adam Pearce this week on X because they don't believe they're getting the respect they deserve, and I would agree. The Dusseldorf crowd clearly also agrees as they serenade Bayley during this segment on multiple occasions. The Kabuki Warriors also come into play here by pulling out Rhea and Io while they're chatting with the aforementioned teams. As these things tend to go, a scuffle ensues, but Rhea and Io end up standing tall here. Only team missing here was Lash and Nia, but this was a ton of fun and once again reminding us how far we've come in this division. Shortly after this, we see it announced that tonight we will get a number one contenders match for those women's WWE Tag Team titles. The first match of the night we get is the newly and now officially signed to Raw Javon Evans going up against Bravo Americano of Los Americanos. This is a decent match and a nice showcase for Javon, albeit a bit short. I was a bit surprised that Los Americanos also didn't get involved, at least until after the match. Then Rio and El Grande Americano tried to attack Javon, but the bouncy one is able to literally bounce out of trouble. Again, a nice match here, just a bit on the short side. We then see a CM Punk promo. He basically says, with the support of the fans, he feels that he can be champion forever. After defeating Braun Breaker last week, he says they are in his rearview mirror and that he very much looks forward to the next challenger. Then enters the Prince himself of the Judgment Days, Finn Balor. After a very interesting backstage promo earlier that sees Finn playing some 2K, but then being called out by Liv for not taking action and chasing gold, as seemingly every other member of the Judgment Day is doing that's not on the shelf. Finn says his name was mentioned back when Punk won his title and potential opponents, but Punk questions Finn that what took you so long, and but that does go on to say he's ready for that defense tonight. Ben, being a heel still, of course, says that he's been around long enough to know that timing is everything and that Punk has been following his career for long enough to know that he has made his career off home field advantage, but that next week they're in Belfast, Ireland. So clearly kind of trying to get a little closer to home before he has his official match. But sign me up for that. That is long overdue. This was a very intense promo and it has me kind of gushing at the idea of seeing Finn Balor in the title scene again and potentially what could be for not only him, but the entirety of the Judgment Day, who are all currently chasing or at least trying to get in the right spot to acquire some gold. Getting to the second half of Raw, we do see that match promised by WWE earlier, which has the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi going up against the Judgment Days, Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez going up against Lyra Valkyria and Bayley to become number one contenders for those WWE Women's Tag Team Championship, which was announced to take place on January 24th edition of Saturday Night Main Event, which of the two already announced matches is looking like a pretty enticing show. By default, these triple threat tag matches are going to be chaotic. This match is no exception, as each team looks good here. But in the end, the Judgment Day's Roxy and Liv get the win here and are now your number one contenders to Rio's Tag Team Championships. This was a pretty good match here, and like I said, every team looked good here, but clearly all things coming up, Judgment Day, this episode of Raw. And speaking of the Judgment Day, we then see another really quick segment here of Raquel Rodriguez being interviewed by Michael Cole. Cole questions her actions last week and her actions to attack an already injured Vaquer. Raquel said that she always used to be the one that smiled when her name was called, but that's she's over that whole routine, and that until she gets the opportunity she deserves, as her opportunities keep getting squandered, she's not going to stop. Raquel also says that you can feel sorry for Vaquer after Raquel is your new women's world champion, but until then, she's going to continue with her antics. Vaquer then shows up to confront Raquel, but officials keep them separate until they don't. Raquel once again attacks that booted up leg of Vaquer, and so Raquel and Vaquer seem to be on a path for destruction. However, I did find it funny how quickly Finn got his match announced, but yet somehow we still haven't got the Raquel Vaquer match. So makes you wonder if that boot is legitimate. I've seen reports that maybe it is, but regardless, it seems like Raquel has kind of made herself the number one contender, but for whatever reason hasn't been announced. So we'll have to wait and see what comes of that situation. And one more segment that we do see is Becky Lynch, kind of a pre-recorded segment here that after next week's rematch with Maxine Dupree for that IC title once again, she'll have to say goodbye to the big time. And I thought that was a great promo as well. I know this isn't the first time, and I promise you it won't be the last, but I love this version of Becky. And yet another championship match for an Ireland-bred talent next week on Raw in Belfast. So, next week's episode overall is shaping up to be another good one. The next match of the evening has Bronson Reed and Austin Theory of the Vision, with Logan Paul and Paul Heyman going up against Dragon Lee and Penta. This, of course, coming off Dragon Lee, Penta, and Ray helping to even the odds last week for CM Punk. This match is going along nicely until we see some classic Bizen strategy, which has Braun Breaker getting involved and spearing Dragon Lee on the entrance ramp. Just as Braun Breaker looks to dish out another spear, Adam Pearce gets involved. We obviously saw a segment earlier that has Adam Pearce threatening Paul Heyman that if Braun Breaker showed up today with bad intentions, that there would be consequences, or at least threatens that kind of possibility. Braun distracts Adam Pearce enough while the rest of the division hands out a tsunami, and then Braun hits a spear, and Breaker gets in the face of Mr. Pearce. This got chaotic fast. The rest of the division peels Breaker off, and Adam is furious as Paul Heyman apologizes as they move back up the ramp. Logan Paul takes a different route and warns that Breaker is going to hurt Adam Pearce if you don't calm down. So I can't imagine this ends without some fines and or suspensions. At least that's kind of what I'm thinking here for the Vision, especially Braun Breaker. Sure enough, it wasn't but a few minutes after this, I think an ad break later maybe, that we see this exact thing happen. Braun and Adam get into another argument, and Pearce suspends Braun Breaker immediately. Paul Heyman then shows up and says that was a mistake. Pearce agrees, thinking he's talking about Braun's actions, but Paul says that from his vantage point, Adam laid his hands on Braun Breaker first. So this is a very interesting angle here, and I'm curious to see where they're going to take this one. Heard a lot of rumors of maybe Adam Pearce being replaced. It's clear that Adam Pearce is very overwhelmed as the Raw GM. We kind of see that week in, week out. Although entertaining, maybe they're going to take some actual action there from a storyline perspective to give Adam Pearce a break. I imagine when you come face to face in kind of confrontation like Adam Pearce has, that can't end well for him, kind of going up against the likes of the Vision. So curious to see, very, very intrigued on where they're going to take that one. We then get into our main event, and for the first time ever, as we've seen announced about 10 times at least throughout the show, the phenomenal one, AJ Styles, going up against the Ring General, Gunther. AJ Styles is interviewed by Jackie Redmond earlier and promises to teach Gunther a lesson tonight, and even further that he was going to make him tap out like a little bitch, the kind of thing that we've been hearing from Gunther. Giving away a PLE-worthy match on a weekly television show is something you're not ever going to hear me complain about, but this match wastes little time to get going. Very hard-hitting, extremely personal. Both men are flying around the ring for the most of this match, especially Gunther. He definitely had a much quicker pace than normal here, and AJ Styles obviously has no problem matching that. pace. But this is awesome chance ring through the arena and my living room, as this match was truly incredible. If you ever find yourself wondering why Gunther is where he currently is in the company, please do yourself a favor and go watch this match immediately. The ending of this match is very interesting and topical here. AJ Styles has Gunther in a calf crusher, and Gunther is seen tapping on AJ's leg. At this point, AJ lets go of the hold, thinking he has the match won. He should know better. But the ref says there was not a tap, as he didn't see it. Almost immediately after this, they don't restart the match. They continue the match, I suppose. Gunther hits AJ with a low blow, as the ref is telling everyone over on the official side to continue the match. AJ gets hit with that low blow and then a power bomb from Gunther to get the win. And I quite like this ending here, too, because Gunther kind of outsmarting AJ to get the win, proving he has both the brains and the bronze to get the job done. And once again, showing us how much we can actually hate Gunther as a heel. He's doing fantastic work. I can't imagine, though, that AJ, being the veteran he is, will take this lying down. I assume this is the first match, of course, but I have a feeling this will not be the last. So with that, overall, Raw, almost every single match and promo here tonight means something and continues a story. And I'm sure I come off as a broken record, but if you can do that, give us a few above average matches in the meantime. That is the recipe for success, or at least the recipe that I look for on a weekly basis. All in tonight's episode, we got Finn Balor inserting himself in the World Heavyweight picture, Liv and Roxanne becoming #1 contenders by besting both the Kabuki Warriors and Lyra and Bayley, and Raquel Rodriguez once again attacking Vaquer. So, and a pretty quality, fiery promo from her. So if you're a member of the Judgment Day and healthy, it was a good night for you. The Vision and Adam Pearce have some very serious issues there, as I kind of just briefly mentioned a minute ago. I think that could lead to some very interesting angles. And on top of all of that, we saw Gunther and AJ Styles for the very first time, and that ending makes me think it definitely will not be the last. So once again, I honestly cannot come with any complaints for this one. Maybe a bit on the shorter side, at least it felt like, but just maybe comparatively speaking, because now SmackDown is 3 hours, so Raw kind of comes off as a bit shorter. But regardless, in my opinion, WWE continues to fire on all cylinders. We've got so many good matches, so many title changes over the last couple weeks, and just loving what WWE is putting out right now on our build to the Royal Rumble, our path to the Royal Rumble, and obviously that will head to our path to WrestleMania. So crazy that we already that time of year that we already starting to think about that, but we are not far off. And we'll see if NXT can continue that momentum tomorrow night. But enough about me. What did you all think about this episode of Monday Night Raw? Your likes, dislikes, and everything in between. Please let us know in the comments below. As always, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, as that helps us out tremendously. As always, we will be back with our NXT and SmackDown recap, and we are continuing to work on our WrestleMania project as well. If you haven't already seen those, please go do check those out. But for now, this has been the latest episode of The Push with Nick and KP. Until next time, we'll see you soon. Take care.